time, about 4:30 one morning, I got a silly idea for a YouTube short about a writer auditioning for a fantasy heroine.
Good afternoon. Hello. Ooh.
But the fantasy heroine who showed up was not a 16-year-old whiff who could inexplicably shoot a warbow.
How old is she?
I'm 36.
Oh, no.
But a 36-year-old with 2 kids who was completely done with this. This then evolved, or possibly devolved, into gently poking fun at other romance and fantasy tropes, and kind of also fanfiction.
Hello.
Oh, you're hurt! Excellent, tell me all about it. And then evolved again into basically what would happen if D&D was played by 2 characters from Yes Minister.
Leo, stay down!
Leo, was it? Assuming that one of the characters in Yes Minister was a rabid shipper. I even threw in a little bit of character development. Caroline, please. Stop pushing this. Fine, I will leave it be. And it turned out that a certain section of the internet is, as the kids say, invested in the story now.
Which I think is what the kids say when they like things.
Actually, you haven't seen that one yet, but stick around to the end and you shall. I mean, I have basically recreated early 2000s fanfic in video form, but shh, most of them are too young to remember that. So I'd like to first thank everyone who has shared in my joy, because making this series has been pure serotonin and I love it very much. Not the subtitles part, the subtitles take forever, but the other parts. Thing about shorts is, they don't actually make any money. Apparently YouTube is rolling out monetization at the start of next year sometime, but I got 8 times the views that I got in the previous month and made less money. So yeah, gotta make the videos that keep the lights on. Luckily, I enjoy those videos too, so it's all good. Unfortunately, I have my channel members and patrons who support the things I do regardless of what they are, which is fantastic. I thought I'd answer a couple of your questions about the series and also let you know that if you are a regular viewer who doesn't watch shorts, there will be a compilation of the first dozen-ish episodes up soon, which you can watch. I mean, it's still vertical format, but they're all one after the other in a long video, so whatever's good for you. Said dozen-ish videos basically comprise season 1, and season 2 will be coming along shortly when I figure out roughly what they're doing. I've already started writing it. I've got 3 episodes so far. It's gonna be fun. There are gonna be costume changes. Side note, I apologize in advance if the image goes out of focus on this video. My camera has recently stopped allowing me to flip up the screen, and so I can't do things like manual focus while looking at myself, which is a bit of a problem. But the new camera is coming, so it's all good. First question, can hedgehogs eat cheese, and if so, what kinds? No, hedgehogs can't digest dairy, it gives them diarrhea. You should give them cat or dog food instead. That was not in any way relevant, but people would be sad if there wasn't some kind of cheese reference, so onward. A couple of you wanted to know why Rosamund couldn't be stabbed through mail, because mail is traditionally not very good against stabbing. So in the second episode, Rosamund wrenches her shoulder while she's wearing a mail shirt, and now she's worried because she's not going to be able to get that mail shirt off without causing herself some discomfort. And the writer says, could you not maybe get stabbed instead? Now, you can be stabbed through mail. It's better than nothing against stabbing, but it's not amazing. But if you're being stabbed with training weapons through mail, you're probably doing something wrong. That is a degree of nuance that the writer probably lacks, however. At least at this point. Whatever happened to the second bandit? I think we can safely assume that if he wasn't killed, he was at least incapacitated by Leo when he pulled him off Rosamund. I mean, there are future career options for bandit number 2 if he survives, but we'll see. What sort of lawyer is Rosamund retaining to prevent her husband's inheritance from being stolen? Well, in this instance, a lawyer just isn't going to cut it, hence the mission that they are on, but that is a plot detail that we will get to. This one's quite long, I'm gonna have to read it. I would like it if Leo was revealed to have some completely mundane feminine talent, like he can sew enough to mend his trousers or something. He does in fact know how to sew, at approximately the same level as Rosamund's 11-year-old daughter knows how to sew, which is to say roughly as well as Rosamund herself does. She can mend things, that's something you need to be able to do, but she's not really keen on sewing as a recreational activity. I got a lot of questions about the hot childhood best friend, so let me summarize. Yes, we will see him again, however, he is at the location that Rosamund and Leo just left. So we can't see him again unless he somehow turns up at their destination for some reason, or they go back to where they started, or he ends up at a third location that they are both going to. Will there be bodice ripping? No, I leave that to your febrile imaginations. Also, why would you rip the bodice? Someone's gonna have to sew that back up, you know. Several people expressed a desire to borrow/steal some of the ideas in the series and write their own stuff, to which I say, crack on. If it's fanfiction, then it's fanfiction of a thing which is itself a fanfiction of tropes I'm not quite sure how that works. It's very meta though. Dear Rosamund, did you get to pack 2 knives? If not, do you have to eat using your stabbing knife or stab using your eating knife? Don't worry, she brought several knives. Not that she'd be averse to stabbing someone with her eating knife, but it's not really weighted for throwing, so A couple of people asked, are you going to write a novel? Or when is the novel coming? Or I need this as a novel. That's not a question, but anyway, in the nicest possible way, if you want one, please don't say that. And the reason I say that is that every single time in my adult life I have attempted to write a long form story, I get to about 5,000 words and then I get stuck. For these shorts, there is a separate file labeled Rosamund, and in that file there are just over 6,000 words of scenes which I needed for chronology but will never actually appear in the series, or scenes that will be described in the series but I wanted to write out in full to figure out how they went. If I think about it as a whole project, like try to conceptualize it, my brain freezes, but if I just think about the next thing that has to happen for the video, then we're somehow okay. So I don't know if this will ever turn into any kind of long form content, but if it does, it will be because I finally managed to work through the short form content to get me the plot that I needed. Let's do 3 more. Does the heroine's recognition of being in a fictional narrative change her response to the various storylines and plot points that arise? To an extent, yes, but the main plot, not so much, because the main plot is what's really preoccupying her, even though Caroline doesn't seem to really care about it at all. She is not here for bonus romance shenanigans while she's trying to secure her kid's inheritance. And so if she is in fact reluctantly going along with some of the tropes, it's only because they either make sense to her or because she's trying to keep Caroline happy so she can bargain for concessions later. Oh, here's a good one that's gonna make you mad. My question is, what happened between Rosamund and Leo that made him her hot enemy? What forced them to work together? Writer keeps calling him hot enemy, but the only grudge Rosamund seems to have against him is, under no circumstances will I let you be a love interest. Those are all excellent questions, to which I know the answers, but I cannot give you the answers at this point in the story. To paraphrase Brandon Sanderson, you're gonna have to watch and find out. The answers entertain me though, so I hope they will entertain you too. Last question is probably my favorite, because it is, I can't tell if you like or hate these tropes. And that's very interesting to me because the series has been loved by people who love the tropes and by people who hate tropes. And so I'm about to make approximately 30% of you really mad because honestly, I love this stuff. Oh no, we're partners in the police force, but for some arbitrary reason we have to go undercover and pretend that we're married. Say it isn't so, I've never really cared for you, but now we have to spend arbitrarily large amounts of time together for some reason, and maybe you're not so bad after all. Oh shoot, we've got such a great working relationship and we're such good friends, but I think I've fallen in love with you, and that's really bad because we're literally in business together, and also why would you be in love with me anyway? I live for this shiz, I really do. I know it's very popular in some circles to think that tropes are bad or romance is bad or whatever, and there is an entire universe of fiction, so if you don't like those things, then that is totally fine. But honestly, this stuff is my jam, and the reason I love the Liaden universe is because I love the space adventure stuff, but I also love the quasi-Regency romance stuff that's happening at the same time. And I did just rewatch the entire BBC Pride and Prejudice miniseries, so I have all of the feelings about that too. Can you tell? Never mind. For now, here is the extremely meta episode 12 of the Fantasy Heroine series. I wish you great joy of it, and I'll see you soon.
Rosamund, you will never guess what.
You finally decided to name the city we just travelled to? Much better than that. We're famous on the internet.
Oh, the internet is...
Caroline, I literally live in your head. I know what the internet is.
Although, I must say, they do all think you're going to stab me.
Can't say I haven't been tempted.
But they're also invested, which I think is what the kids say when they like things.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Also, at least half of them seem to get your name wrong.
I'm sure they'll pick it up.
Well, since we're now internet famous, I think we should continue planning out what happens once you arrive in...
Yes?
Kieforth, where you are to deliver Queen Eudocia's declaration of truce to King Roland.
And I assume that King Roland is going to declare a ball to celebrate. And it's a masquerade too. Of course it is.
Oh, and in response to the question, will we ever get to see Leo? The answer is, I don't know yet. We'll see.